It's about that time. You're rocking with your boy Damo Unleashed and Sky Black on the Nashville Caveman Podcast. Stay tuned.
Hey, what you got in that bag? Just know that I'm up. Just know that I'm up. I gotta turn up this function like I'm in the Lotus and punch it. All I'm gonna ask is stay in your lane and you won't be food for my luncheon. I'm coming up out of the dungeon, cooking up plans to make something from nothing. And since I secured the bag, it's time to do math, so I'ma keep hustling. I thought I had lost my way or something. I am not feeling what they say is busting. They keep us trapping this way, disgusting. If you so happen to catch me flexing, I could be killing the stress for day for learning how to install some chromic crystals on the Escalade. Matching the optics on my sternum. I am for the sake of the people. Grabbing my Glock and pray to the Lord, cause not everybody tryna be peaceful. I still hope we set the stage for showing them how it's supposed to be. So those that's close to me won't have to ask, hey, what you got in that bag? Just know that I'm up. Just know that I'm up. Hey, what you got in that bag? Just know that I'm up. Just know that I'm up. Hey, what you got in that bag? Let me explain what I'm talking about. Had a joint called down about it. Letting these loud mouths know how to move without sound. Best if we don't even shout out. Midwest, east, west, down south. Till we get even or even above. Till then we gon' opt out. Let's go. And educate on the backside. Folk that I act right and they won't backslide. Just put it together no matter the weather, my brother. So hey, if you dealing with vices in you and it's cutting you up like against you, put it on chill for real, or they gon' just use it against you. What you got in that bag? Quiet water.
What is going on, everybody, man? Welcome to the Nashville Caveman Podcast. I am one half of your host, Damo Unleashed, man. We are happy to have you guys. Welcome if you guys are coming in from Twitch, Facebook, or YouTube, or Instagram, man. Beagle also, we appreciate you guys being here. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and roll out the red carpet for a good friend of mine that's like a brother. So the floor is yours.
Welcome, everybody. Today is the best day of the week, Tuesday, right? Because it's the Nashville Caveman Podcast. Sorry to everybody that I couldn't make it to the No Limit Pro show Sunday because of the storm, man. It got really bad. We went to church, and then as we left church, man, the interstate started to flood. It was lightning, storming, wind blowing. I mean, it was just crazy. So everybody that saw the No Limit Pro show Sunday, in Tullahoma, it was a great show. Thank y'all for coming. But unfortunately, the show that I have coming up this Saturday in Huntington has been canceled. So everybody down in Huntington, there will not be an ICW show in Huntington, but they will be back in June. Thank y'all for all y'all support. Don't forget tonight, the D-Bling Radio Show, new music, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., the replay from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Don't forget, coming soon, a new radio show on Thursdays. I just call it Off Top Radio Day to play all the other genre of music that we have lined up for you. All new music starting on Thursdays. Maybe in June is when it'll start. I'm just trying to get everything put together. And then after that, if you have music, please send it to me at sky.black@gmail.com. That is sky.black@gmail.com. And then after that, get ready to get your interviews done with Mr. Damo over here. And don't forget, he's still doing the advertisement for cheap, y'all. If y'all need the advertisement to get your business, whatever you need out there, holler at Damo, and then get ready for December for the second annual So Driven Awards. It's coming up real soon.
Yeah, man. And I want to ask you, man, how was your week this week? Other than these storms, man.
Man, other than that, I've been all right, but man, all this damn rain is just messing with my sinuses and allergies and all that old stuff. I mean, it's just raining and raining and raining. I'm like, man, I remember in the 80s, we used to beg for rain. It used to get so hot, it would never rain in the 80s. It'd be 99 degrees every day for 8 days straight. Here now, it's just crazy.
You know what I'm shocked about? I'm shocked that the weather, we haven't had humid or hot weather. I don't even think we've had many days over 80 degrees. I
Right.
can't remember in the 20 years that I've been down here where the weather has just been this. Like, this is great weather. I mean, I ain't complaining, but man, I'm used to it being like mid, sub 80, 90.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, we about to step into June, and I don't think we had 90 degrees yet, have we?
No, nope.
I don't even know if we really had 80.
Every time it gets like real humid, rain is on its way. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, this is like a weird year so far, man.
Mhm.
And you know what? And the one thing I hate is every time I tell y'all, every time I wash the car, it rains.
Or if
It
you cut the
never
grass,
fails.
it rains. If you wash the car and cut the grass, it rains.
That's another thing, man. I was wanting to cut my grass, possibly, man, tomorrow or Thursday. I may have to wait till Friday because it just keep raining.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Absolutely. So how was your week?
Man, it was pretty good. I tried to do it fast, but I did 40 hours. Let me
Did
tell
you?
y'all, it was a liquid fast, so it
Mm-hmm.
was no solid food.
Right.
Man, you're talking about mentally challenging yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That was the hardest challenge I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Is a liquid fast. I'm gonna try to do one again for 3 days, but you're talking about really challenging yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That all I can think about, Sky, was this food. I was just hungry all the time, and then it made me think. What about the people that, like, homeless people in third world countries, that they can't go to the refrigerator or they can't go and grab a bite to eat anytime they want to,
Right.
and to have to deal with that's rough.
That is rough. That's really
So,
rough. You're right. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I tried it. I did 40 hours, man. I pat myself in the 40 hours, but then my stomach was like, L negative. You better get on to this refrigerator and grab you some stuff out of this refrigerator. Quit playing with it.
Hey, I know how you feel. I had to do that 24-hour fast before my colonoscopy, man, and it is a mental challenge, man. It is talking about just chicken broth and Jello and popsicles and Gator. That's it.
Yeah, they almost want you to have clear liquids.
Basically,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I figure every now and then I would do like what you're doing, a fast, but half of what I had to do before I had to go and get the colonoscopy. Instead of doing 24 hours, just do a 12. 12 hour, like every now and then, just to detox yourself, because it was a great detox. Only problem is when you do it for 24 hours, I was so dehydrated they couldn't find a vein. You gotta put the vein in you to put you to sleep. So I don't want to get that dehydrated to where you know what I'm saying, it's like that. But I think every now and then, maybe every 4 weeks, a 12-hour fast or detox is good.
Yeah. Shout out to my brother too, man. He recommended 3 vitamins to me that really, I'm talking about, man. You talking about somebody that went from low energy. I had a lot of days where I was just working and sleeping. And man, it's sarsaparilla, black oil seed, and sea moss.
Yeah.
And I end up adding total beats. But you talk about my energy levels doing a 360. I haven't had this much energy in a long while. So shout out to him. Also, man, shout out to all the veterans. Yesterday was Memorial Day. So shout out to all the veterans that's alive and and the ones that sacrificed their life. So, man, I hope you guys all had a great day yesterday.
Right.
Yesterday didn't even really feel like Memorial Day, though, I think, because of all the rain. Usually you would see a lot of grills out, but it was so much rain that you didn't really see a lot of barbecue.
Right. That's true. I don't know how anybody enjoyed it, but hey, for some people, they just needed a day off from work, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I had to work yesterday.
Did you?
Actually had to go in the morning to do some repairs, and then had to go back. So yeah,
Gotcha.
my weekend went by quick, you know.
But they
But
usually
I
do
was
that.
watching these news, all this stuff in the news, man. What in the world is going nuts? It feel like, man, this world is going absolutely nuts.
Yep, it's last days, ain't it?
Man, I watched the. I don't know if you seen it. I posted the video. It was on my page. I ain't gonna play it today because I couldn't upload it on here. It's better. It would do more justice for the video to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a waiter. You know how they carry the trays, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them trays they be having like a whole bunch of plates on them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this dude just walked by past the waiter and just did that and knocked the whole tray over on purpose.
Mm.
And this is on Mother's Day, man. And then one of and this was irate, and I'm like, what is going on? What is wrong with folks? We don't have enough therapists out here. We don't have enough mental hospitals out. Instead of all them liquor stores and churches, we need more mental hospitals where people could go get some medicine. Because I was like, this is nuts. Did you see the video where the young man unalived the other young man because he was his girl was at a gas station. He was in line right behind him. I don't know if he said something to the woman, right? But you see her get in the car. You see him step up to the attendant. The girl's boyfriend, because their car was sitting right there, he gets out the car. They exchange a couple words, and this dude unloads the clip on this dude.
The
And
dude
then
sitting in the car or the dude outside the car shot?
the dude that was sitting in the car got out,
Mm-hmm.
exchanged a couple words with the dude that was dealing with the attendant, the dude that was standing behind the dude's girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
and they exchanged some words, and then he just unloaded the clip on this dude. Shot him at point blank range, and then
I'm
when
saying
the dude fell, he
who did the
unloaded the
shooting?
rest of it.
Who did the shooting? The guy that got out the car or the girl's boyfriend?
The guy that got out the car was the girl's boyfriend. Hey, what's up,
Okay.
man?
So he's the one that did the shooting.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's like, and I'm sitting up here and I'm watching this and I'm like, dude, you did that. Your life over with. You
Yeah.
gonna go to prison,
Yeah.
and now she gonna be with somebody else. I got you, Mary. And then she gonna be with somebody else. So what's the point of all that? You don't get no brownie points for that. This dude, his life gone. And then you sitting locked up in prison, and then your girl jumping on another pole.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like this whole protect me stuff and all that, like it was nothing. The video, if it's not on my page, I'm gonna post it later. But y'all gotta see this video. Sky, I gotta tag you in this video.
Okay.
Man, you gonna be like, hell no. And so. This is a wild week, man. In the house reading these news stories. But I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all what we're gonna talk about. We got some Sky, you came across some of these. One of them I think I had to tag you in because I was like, oh, this is bizarre. So I'm gonna read for y'all what we're gonna talk about today, all right?
Okay.
An employee murdered a customer over a food order. A pack of mayonnaise. A McDonald's restaurant requires dine-in guests to be 21 and over in Fairfax, Virginia. Do women really cheat better than men? Nah, I don't think they do. All right. Is he right or is he wrong? And who's really the problem? And then last but not least, Sky, we're supposed to talk about this last week, but we didn't get to it. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but people have been up in arms about these food benefits and Medicare being cut. And they saying that it can be cut for millions. And people, man, is like in panic mode.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So Did you hear some of the things that they were talking about though?
About cutting or people talking about it?
About cutting, like stuff. Like there's women, and I didn't know this. There are, like for example, a woman could get a housing or apartment voucher,
Right.
have kids, right? When her kids come of age,
Mhm.
pass the voucher on to her kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then when her kids come of age, they do the same thing. So basically, people are just milking the system. They just living on it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, new people, it's harder for them to come on. And people that been on, they're just passing these vouchers down from generation to generation. And so now they're talking about, well, we'll get into all that. But you know how we do. Before we get this started, before we get into discussion time, we love to play music. If you are an indie artist and you have music, either if you got a music video, send it to me or send it to Sky. All right? Y'all can send it to me, soulldrivenmedia at Gmail, or soulldrivenmedia at gmail.com. And Sky, where can they send it to yours?
Oh, the same. If they want to, just send it to sky.black@gmail.com. That's sky.black, BLACKE @gmail.com.
Yeah, we're always looking for new artists, man, especially music videos. Even if you've been on this program before, we're always looking for artists to showcase on here, to promote. And it don't cost you a thing, man. So where else can you get free promotion? Because we're both all about, you know, promoting music, indie artists. So if you're an indie artist, man, just go ahead and reach out. If y'all could do us also a favor, if you're watching this live, if y'all could share the live feed, whether you're on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or on Bigo, do us a favor, man. Share it live, all right? We're going to go ahead and get into some music right quick, and then we'll be right back with y'all. Y'all rocking with the Nashville Caveman Podcast Show. We'll be back in a moment.
I'm on a roll, it's out of control. They watching, the people want a show. Am I gon' fumble? Am I gon' fall? I gotta let them know. Can't stop this flow.
You gon' know my hunger, you gon' know my name. Never did I make it, oh boy, I was a lame. I'm telling y'all stories so y'all can know my pain. And I'ma need a straight jack, I'm finna go insane. Like every day I stayed up, trying to be the best out. Looking at me downfield, trying to run the best route. But you know these corners, man, had to put a curl in. All I do is fail, and I'm looking for my first win. Always fucking broke, I just wish that I can touch green. Trying to lead the hood, cause you know that I can do without. Gotta put my family on, you know that I can't do without. Can't stop, won't stop, baby, that's what this all about, yeah.
I'm on a roll, it's out of control. They watching, the people want a show. Am I gon' fumble? Am I gon' fall? I gotta let them know. Can't stop this flow. Can't stop this flow. I'm about to blow. Can't stop this. Can't stop this. Can't stop this flow. No, 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 no. Can't stop this flow.
Can't stop, won't stop, gotta keep going. These niggas sleeping on me, so let them keep snoring. The best rap alive, and I gotta keep flowing. I'm pulling up like step, man, I gotta keep scoring. And losing not an option, I learned to be a better me. Best rap alive, and y'all others just a letter B. You trying to ride my wave, and these niggas trying to copy me. Wanted that alive, then you know these rappers dead to me. Second place, nigga, that's the best that they can ever be. Can't stop, won't stop, boy, you know I'm the recipe. Running the game for too long, think that I can give it up. Told y'all what a life I'm living, you know I had to live it up, yeah.
I'm on a roll, it's out of control. They watching, the people want a show. Am I gon' fumble? Am I gon' fall? I gotta let them know. Can't stop this flow. Can't stop this flow. I'm
All right, we back, man. So we gonna get to this first story, right? I want y'all to hear this. This. People out here foolish.
Some new detail. After he complained about his order, and the victim asked to speak to a manager just before he was shot. Fox 35 Stephanie.
Hold on, let me go back. Okay.
At a Checkers restaurant in Kissimmee, a worker allegedly shot a customer after he complained about his order, and the victim asked to speak to a manager just before he was shot. Fox 35 Stephanie Buffmonti is live at that restaurant with the latest. So Stephanie, that suspect was in court today.
Yes, and those new shocking details were released today. According to a witness, this could have potentially been over a packet of mayo. Now, one person is behind bars and another person is dead. This happened in a busy area, as you can see, right in Old Town, which is near Fun Spot.
The defendant will be held pursuant to Arthur at no bond.
23-year-old Elijah Mackey in an orange jumpsuit and cuffs, making a first appearance in court Friday. He's charged with first-degree premeditated murder. Osceola County deputies say it was all over a fast food customer complaining about his meal. A witness said he was possibly asking for mayo packets. The arrest affidavit says Wesley Robertson asked to speak with the manager several times after ordering from the front window at Checkers Wednesday night. Deputies say that's when Mackey climbed out of a drive-through window, walked around the side of the building, and started arguing with Robertson. According to an arrest report, that's when Robertson used derogatory language to insult Mackey, and in response, Mackey pulled a gun out of his waistband and shot Robertson in the chest. He fell headfirst into the building. The employee ran toward the slingshot ride and then to Celebration Suites nearby. We spoke with people staying there.
Can you imagine? You're just like, oh, let's go to Checkers. I want, a hamburger meal or whatever it is. And next thing you know, you're gone. I mean, how does that happen? It's sad. It's really sad.
You don't know if you can ever voice your opinion, because if somebody's going to pull a gun.
Former Orlando Police Chief Orlando Rolone weighing in.
Obviously, this individual will have their day in court, but based on the information that we have seen so far, it'll be very, very difficult for them to defend their actions. And it's unfortunate because it could have been avoided.
He says it's important to talk to your kids about controlling their emotions and lead by example.
Takes a much bigger person to basically step away from a situation like that. Be that person. Don't allow for someone to bring you down or take you on a path that you will regret later.
Now, the Checkers was closed yesterday. It is open right now. We reached out to Checkers for comment, but haven't heard back. Reporting in Kissimmee, Stephanie Buffmonti, Fox 35 News.
So, there we go. Imagine losing your freedom. And the dude, 23 years old. So I'm quite sure his life over with. What you in here for? Somebody asked for some mayo, so I shot.
And so, was it the customer or the employee that died?
The customer that died.
So the employee
so imagine going
shot.
to order some.
Why did the employee have a gun in?
Yeah.
You say Checkers? So he had a gun already in Checkers.
In his waistband, yep. You can't argue with these fools.
Was he like the manager? He was just a normal employee.
He's just a regular employee.
That nobody knew that he had walked in here with this gun, right?
Yeah.
And then a customer upsets him, and then he pulls his gun out and shoots him. Was he outside of Checkers or was he still inside?
He climbed out the window. He climbed out the window, walked around, got in an argument with this dude, right? And then, man, I guess the dude said some stuff that he didn't like, so he pulled it out his waistband, and then, man, hit the dude in the chest. Dude fell into the building, hit his head, and then that was it. Gone.
Well, no sympathy from me then. I don't like he said on the thing, I don't know how anybody can defend his actions because it's on camera, everything that has happened.
Yeah.
And that wasn't self-defense. You just did it out of cold murder because you upset about whatever he said to you at when you was trying to serve him his meal or mayonnaise, whatever. It was worth doing 25 to 30 years in jail of your life. Crazy.
Man, and then imagine the dude, like, I ain't arguing. Look, man, I'm not arguing with anybody. I wouldn't argue with him. He would have came around there to do all that. I wouldn't have argued with him. I'll go home and get me some mayonnaise. You just ain't getting my business. I'll call court. That's how that's gonna go. I'm not arguing over anything. And we see people going to these fast food restaurants all the time, crashing out. We see this all the time, don't we?
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. Because this dude never even got to touch his meal.
Never.
So he lost his life over a meal that he didn't even get to test. He didn't even get to eat the meal. So what was the point?
And then he's standing there looking silly. That's
yeah,
just
and
crazy.
then the dude, he's standing there like a fool. His life over with too. So it's like, what's the point? Man.
But even as the employee, if I'm just a normal employee and a customer has an issue, it's above my pay grade. My job is to go get the supervisor or the manager. Let them argue. I'm not supposed to argue. I work drive-through. I work fast food. Anytime a customer had a situation, I'm like, excuse me, hold on, let me go get the manager. I never argue back. For what? I don't get paid to argue back. I get paid to serve you food and take your order. This person above me, my boss, gets paid to argue with you.
Right.
So a quick little story. I was working at White Castle in Nashville on Nonesville Road in Thompson Lane. This was like maybe my junior to senior year in high school, something like that. It's like 97. This is when White Castle's bought Church's Chicken. So the first year of the Church's Chicken was actually in a White Castle. So I can't think of her name, but anyways, one guy had an issue with something that happened, and I went and got Angie. That was her name. Damn, I can't believe it came to Angie, and she, opened the door, stuck her head out. Do you know the guy opened up the ketchup packets, right? He ripped them, squeezed them a little bit, and threw them at her through the window. So then, as she is standing with ketchup packets and ketchup all over her, and then he sped off. Ask me if I felt bad for her. No. Because you the one who gets paid to have to deal with that. That's why I called you to come over. So right. At the end of the day, with me, it would have never got there. First of all, I would have never walked into Checkers. That little boy, because I'm looking at his picture, has issues outside of Checkers.
Oh,
he has issues with wherever he's going if he has to carry a gun to work or to Checkers. Because whoever is chasing him or after him must know he works at Checkers. You see what I'm saying? Like, who would bring a gun to Checkers? So he had more issues than just shooting this guy, this customer in the chest. But yeah, it would have never got that far. If anybody was gonna get to shooting and fighting, it would have been the manager, the supervisor, the owner of Checkers versus them. Not me. You don't pay me enough to put my life on the line for none of this stuff.
Right. And it's a lesson too. You gotta pick and choose your battles. Man, you can't be out here, man, getting into it with everybody because man, you lose your temper and your life can be gone just like that.
Just like that.
You see this on a daily basis, man. You can lose your temper, right? And you may have the right to be upset and to be angry in the argument. But just remember, you got to be careful because with the right person, man, it could be all over with. Yeah. It could be over with.
Yeah, don't. You got to choose the woman that you with. You got to choose the situation because some of these guys lose their life because they feel like they're being punked in front of their woman or disrespected in front of their woman or their woman is being disrespected and they don't want to go home. And she's like, you didn't do nothing. You just stood there. Why you didn't say nothing? Like, well, then you see that door, you can always walk out of it.
There you go.
I'm not going to lose my life, like you said, over you. And then once they bury me, you with somebody else. Like, that's craziness. Yeah. Craziness. And so at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. Not only do you have to have control your emotions, your crew around you have to be able to control their emotions, or the woman you with got to be able to control her emotions. Because it's like the Jada Pinkett and Will Smith. He was okay, right? Until he looked at Jada and her emotions caused his emotions to get high. And then that's when he went on stage and slapped Chris Rock. And now look at him now. People ain't buying his new album. He's blackballed from the Grammys or whatever it was they was at. I still think Bad Boy 4 did okay. I still think it did okay in the movies, right? But it didn't do as good as it should have done because people are just against this man for what he did a couple of years ago.
Yep. And dudes, man, you know what? You're touching on an even deeper subject that I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand, like, a lot of these females, they get with these dudes that's the first thing that they need to fish for. That's the first thing the females need to fish out when they dealing with a dude, is how does he handle his emotions? You see what I'm saying? Because that could be the difference between, man, you know, y'all losing your life and getting bopped up the head. Y'all need to see the dude that y'all with, how they handle their emotions. Y'all need to see them angry. How do they handle their anger? You know what I'm saying? Is it this case? Because this dude went far off the deep end. And you're right, Sky. It's something much deeper than what's going on at work. Something going on in his life that's way off. But man, I mean, for the ladies that's watching this, man, how do y'all even deal with a lot of these dudes? Because there's more dudes out there like this than you think. And it's like, man, how do you even have a kid with a dude like this?
Absolutely. A lot of folks, they don't think sometimes, you know. But like you said, sometimes it's a split decision between life or death. And usually it's just an emotion, something. And again, for this boy to kill that man over a pack of mayonnaise, I mean, that's what started it. I don't know what words were exchanged after the mayonnaise incident. He could have talked about his mama, his grandmama, a dead dog. He could have said something to trigger him, but it all started over the mayonnaise. Man, just like that.
Man, Sky, there is no words in the world that would make me give up my freedom. You see what I'm saying? There's no words. There's nothing you can say.
Well, let me tell you something about this. Like in wrestling, you know, when you're the bad guy, you talk bad to the fans to get their reaction. So when I'm a bad guy, I use like a broad stroke, like all of y'all suck, all of y'all stink, all of y'all this. But there has been incidents where I've seen bad guys or heels come out and say, hey, your mama sucked, but didn't know that person's mama died 3 days ago. He just buried her 3 days ago. So now he's pulling out a knife or he's waiting for you in that parking lot with that pistol because you triggered that emotion. You see what I'm saying? So some people, it is depending on what it is, will trigger. It could be the nicest person in the world, but if they just buried their child and you come out talking about all your kids are stupid, and they just see, then that's when it goes from they blacked out now. They're not that normal person no more. You didn't trigger. So I don't know, after the mayonnaise incident, I don't know what was said to trigger that boy to kill him.
Yeah.
See, the audio wasn't picked up because he might have said something like, your grandmama's dumb or your mama's dumb for having you.
Your mama could have swallowed you and all that. And
yeah, so I don't know what was said. So when it gets to that part, that's when you need to figure out who you are. Yeah. So if your grandmama mama has died or is on drugs and somebody talks about them, will it trigger you to kill somebody or will you just walk away from the situation?
Right. You're right. Y'all, this next story is, we're going to keep it on restaurants, all right? It's a whole lot going on in the restaurant world. I was reading this before I even played this story. I was seeing in Chicago had like 6 McDonald's, 4 of them in a Pacific area. 4 of the 6 in this specific area has closed. So, man, what is going on, man? Why y'all is acting out and showing out at McDonald's? You know you got to live in a really bad neighborhood to run McDonald's out. Because McDonald's can stick to the trashiest of neighborhoods. So if you're running them out, if you got them changing how they do things, rules and guidelines, you live in a really, really bad area. Like this next story.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Sky. What you gonna say?
No, I'm agreeing with you. Go
Like
ahead.
this next story, right? So in Fairfax County, which is in Virginia, a McDonald's set a dine-in age limit to 21 years and older after student violence. So this McDonald's sits right across the street from a high school, and they got to deal with high school kids. Let me go ahead and play this video so y'all can hear the kind of stuff that customers have to deal with, and how did they come to this where they had to outlaw students. So they got a video playing. I'm gonna let this video play. Give me 1 minute.
Doing this every night as they sleep by adding one unusual ingredient to
a Fairfax County McDonald's is restricting the age of customers who can dine inside. Good evening, I'm Scott Thuman. We first showed you this sign last night at 11 o'clock. It states, if you're over 21, you must bring a doorbell to be let in. This is at the McDonald's in Franconia near Thomas Edison High School. And new at 6 o'clock tonight, we spotted a teen being denied entry. 7 News' Jay Korf is live there now. Jay, the change comes after recent fights involving teenagers.
Yeah, management here is just sick and tired of Thomas Edison High School students coming over here, really taking over the inside of the dining room, getting into fights, trashing the bathroom, throwing their garbage all over the place. So now the doors are locked, but the restaurant is still open.
It only happens with the kids. The normal community comes here, every interaction are great.
The McDonald's on Franconia Road in Fairfax County kicked off new safety measures, angering teenagers and thrilling adults.
I think it's a great thing. This is the first time in probably 5 years I sat down for 15 minutes in this McDonald's and enjoyed a hamburger.
To get into this McDonald's, customers are greeted at all entrances, which are locked, with a sign saying they have to be over 21 to dine inside. A doorbell alerts a staff member who lets you in. As you can see, they're happy to greet some customers, while others get denied. According to a spokesperson for this franchise, student violence and disrespectful behavior erupts here at least once a week, and staff and customers are sick of it. Thomas Edison High School is just across the street.
I come here every morning. I get my sausage biscuit and my hash brown.
Robert Hankaski says for nearly 50 years he's been frequenting this McDonald's.
This has been slowly manifesting probably over 10 years.
He says high school students routinely trash the bathrooms, start fights in the dining area, and generally provide an unpleasant experience for everyone.
The fighting is a problem. What I'm saying? You'll get one, it'll call me. They're pretty brazen. You know what I mean? And the management trying to step in, and these kids are pretty violent. They're not really kids. Let's be honest. They're young adults.
In a prepared statement, this McDonald's local owner said in part, "We've enhanced our Franconia Road McDonald's security measures to promote a safe environment for our staff and customers. This policy was developed in partnership with local school officials and oversight from local law enforcement."
They're just trying to stop the violence, It's just stop the, because it's not fair that, any other customer comes in here just for a sandwich or a hard-working person, and they're going to put a bunch of idiots.
And then we should note that parents with children, of course, are welcome into the dining room. And if you're under 21, you can certainly go through the drive-thru. You can do the mobile app and get your food curbside. So that's a situation there. Now, we should note, I reached out personally to both the police department to find out about the number of calls here. We know it's been a lot. They never got back in touch with us. The school system did get back in touch with us because we wanted to know what was going on. And they said that they alerted the entire student body to this situation, and they expect these students to act accordingly. Reporting live, I'm Jay Korf for 7 News.
So that's where we at with that now.
I don't blame them whatsoever. Badass kids. I don't blame them. High school is always a weird time for children anyway. They're trying to figure themselves out. Most time, by the time your child gets to 9th grade, they are who they are. You know what I'm saying? And to go across the street and to disturb other people because you have all this energy and testosterone and built up, energy that you need to get out. There's parks, there's tracks, there's swimming, there's basketball. Like, there's other places you can go to get all this energy out that you have pent up because you've been in this damn building for 8 hours or 6 hours, however long school is for most people. Don't go across the street to somebody's business establishment and cause a bunch of ruckus over nothing. Over what? Gang, land. Somebody slept with eating there with another girl's girlfriend. I'm another boy's girlfriend. Like just whatever it is. So no, I don't. If I'm the owner of that McDonald's, I would have done it a long time ago.
Man, you know what? Eventually, man, they gonna make it where, and you know, parents are doing a horrible job when you gotta do 21 and over to even go in a McDonald's. You gotta be 21 at McDonald's. We're not talking about a nightclub here. We're not talking about a dance club here. We're talking about McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? And it's really bad because even the nightclubs, they used to be 21 and over. Now most of them are what? 25, 30. I've seen one 35 and over.
Even rental cars used to be 21. Now you got to be 25. Hertz, Enterprise, you got to be 25 or older now.
Wow.
Absolutely. And you know the crazy part about this story, Damo? All of this would make sense to me if it was in Chicago, Detroit, New Orleans, California. This is in Virginia. How bad has Virginia got? Like, I've never known anybody say, yeah, dude, I'm hard. I'm from Virginia. You know what I'm saying? A couple of rappers that came out of Virginia, Clips, you know, Missy Elliott, you know, Magoo, Timberland Magoo, but not to the point where they're closing down McDonald's or McDonald's has to have an age restriction. What is going on in Virginia?
People be talking about the youth. I think it's more the issue with the older people. Shit rolls down here. The apple don't fall too far from the tree. I just think a lot of these parents, man, you know, a lot of these folks don't need to be having kids. That whole kids having kids thing is absolutely real. A lot of people just don't need to have kids, you know? And I always tell my, your kids, man, are an extension of you. They represent you. So before they go out the house, that message, even before they come of age to even be able to understand that message need to be in their face every day. When you go out here, you're not just representing you, you represent me too. So if you love me, you know what I'm saying, and you care, you don't want nobody speaking bad about me, then when you go out here, you got to represent me in the best way. Because you know how people see you is also how they gonna see me.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's easier said than done. That's why a lot of people choose their kids to go to private school, magnet school, Christian school, homeschool, because they know by the time you get in middle school and high school, now your child, no matter how you raise them at home, is being introduced to a whole new world of parents that don't give a damn, kids that's running amok, selling drugs. So sometimes for these kids, it's easier said than done, because especially if your child is smart. That's why I always tell folks about, well, my child is a 4.0 and smart. They're not only going to be smart for what you want them to know. The brain is a sponge. So if you only taught your child good things, when they get to high school and they start learning about bad things, what do you think they're going to want to know? How all this stuff works. You can't tell the brain, well, you can only learn this and not that. That's not how it works when your child is an honor roll student. So that's why I say it's easier said than done to be like, hey, this is the narrow path. This is what you should be doing. Then they get to high school and they see this new world that they didn't get to see when they was growing up. Like, how does that work? Because you know some of the smartest drug dealers are the smartest people. Right? People you think would never do it is the ones that are locked up in jail because they were smart. The dummies are the ones you see on the corners with the guns and running around shooting each other. But you know what, Sky? The top drug dealers are those 4.0 kids in school who learn how to, you know what I'm saying? But you know what, Sky? This is where I don't believe in unconditional love. And you can't have unconditional love, right? You know, and then even if you do, it still has to come with some rules and guidelines. So, you know, I always like tell my kids, look, who put food in your stomach? Who put a roof over your head? Who put clothes on your back? Why do you value what they got going on and what they think over the person that's literally taking care of you? Because if you was out here down bad on your ass, they are not going to come to the rescue. Right. So why would you allow them to have power of influence over you, over the person that literally
taking care. And that was a message. I'm telling you, like, I think the issue is parents allow other people to have more influence over their children than they have. And that's a problem. Like an athlete shouldn't have more influence over your kid than you have, or a recording artist or anybody else. So, but you're right.
Yeah,
You know, man, the rest of the world get a hold, and you're right, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying sometimes it's just easier said than done. And you know, the kids that are D students, we used to call it DO9, all this stuff, usually once they learn what they learn, they stuck in their ways and they're gonna do whatever they do. But I always notice that when they're like, oh, my child is an honor roll student, and then when they turn 30, they in jail for being the biggest drug dealer in the city. How my child do that? Oh my God. Well, because your child was a genius and they realize, hey, these stupid people don't know what they're doing. But if I come in with a system, not only will I be a ghost, but I'm gonna make millions of dollars and I have to pay taxes on it. You know what I'm saying? So I would just tell people, I'm proud of you. I'm congratulating you that your child is doing great. But you can't control the brain like that. You can't say, well, you can only watch Barney and Nickelodeon, but you can't watch porn and sex. That's not how it works. Once something new comes across your child's eyeballs, the brain is going to be like, how does this work? Where does this come from? It's going to do it with good stuff and bad stuff. You just hope that the stuff that you've taught your child will lead them more to the good side than the bad. That's all.
And you know what, Sky? A lot of people, they try to shield their kids away from the bad stuff.
Yeah,
and I think even with the bad stuff, man, you got to have them conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Like once you find out that you don't want somebody else indoctrinating your kids with the birds and bees.
Right, that's true.
Simply put, you want to make sure that you had that conversation with them first. I think the problem is a lot of people, man, they allow other people to feed their children information, and then, you know, and then they kid, by the time they come to them, now you got to unpack all of that and re-educate. Because they be indoctrinated by somebody else, then you got to come unpack it and re-educate. So it's just better to have conversations. I don't care how uncomfortable they are. It's better to have conversations with them. That's how that stuff starts, Scott.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that's all you can do. As they get older and they come with these questions, sit them down. Hey, what have you learned today? Did somebody say something new to you that you don't understand? Did you see something that you're questioning about? Don't ever be embarrassed to talk to me about, especially daughters. Don't ever be embarrassed to talk to me about anything. You know what I'm saying? And so like you said, a lot. God, what is going on? Sorry, hold on. Don't ever be embarrassed because again, if they're gonna get the answer from somewhere, so if they don't get it from you, they're gonna get it from the streets. They're gonna get it from school. They're gonna get it from somewhere. Trust me.
And you're right, and that's how, especially them daughters, because that's how it's so easy to manipulate.
Yeah,
it's so easy to manipulate women. I had to tell this girl, I'm about to move on to this next thing, but I told this chick, I was like, you can't be the most educated and then the most, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be educated and then at the same time, somebody can easily manipulate you. You can only be one or the other. Either you educated or you just easy to manipulate, but you can't be both.
Right.
This next one, so we're gonna get to this next one, right? And they're saying, who's really the problem? All right. So we're gonna go ahead and play this video, and then me and Sky, man, we're gonna go ahead and chime in on it. Let me get to this music, man. Put a pause on this music just for a minute. All right, so here we go without further ado.
The divorce rate amongst gay couples is about 40 to 50%. Among gay couples, men and men, it's about 30%. Among lesbian couples, it's about 70%. Now, if we're saying that men are the problem in relationships, why is the divorce rate among women much higher than men and women and men? Now, we know women initiate divorces more, so that's what they're saying is the reason why the divorce rate among women is so high. But again, if men are the problem, why is the divorce rate that much higher among women and women? The divorce rate among straight couples is about 40.
So she was saying that the divorce rate. Hold on, let me go back.
Problem in relationships. Why is the divorce rate among women?
Make sure I got these numbers right.
And women and men. Now we know women initiate divorces more, so that's what they're saying is the reason why the divorce rate among women is so high. But again, if men are the problem, why is the divorce rate that much higher among women and women? The divorce rate among straight couples is about 40 to 50%. Among gay couples, men and men, it's about 30%. Among lesbian couples, it's about 70%. Now, for saying
okay, so I had to catch that part. So basically, what she was saying is the divorce rate among straight couples is about 40 to 50%. Right. The divorce rate amongst men and men about 30%. The divorce rate among lesbian couples about 70%. So she was asking the question: if men are the problem in relationships, why is it that women have the higher divorce rate when it comes to even women being married to other women?
I never thought about that. That is something new. I never thought about that because I'm not that curious about lesbianism, if that's a word. So I don't know. I didn't know of their marriage rate, their divorce rate. I didn't know what states allowed them to get married, what states recognize. Like I don't know none of that. I don't know if you lied to you. So it's caused me kind of into that question because I didn't know that was even a thing, that there was a high divorce rate between women who marry women. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I ain't gonna just crap on women like that. You know what I'm saying? Look, you choose who you choose. If you are not a good judge of character, the results gonna speak for itself.
Right.
So if you're not if you're not asking the right questions, you're not seeking out the most important things in a relationship, the results are going to speak for themselves. I don't care if you're a dude, if you're a chick, if you're a dude and dude, y'all together, if you're a female, y'all together, if you're a man and you're a woman, y'all together. Man, if you're seeking out the wrong things in a person, the results are always, you can throw it on the other person all you want. You're the one that decided that you was going to go ahead and commit to it. So you got some blame in it. That's something that you missed. You know what I'm saying? Because people love to say, oh man, he tricked me or she tricked me. You a little kid. You know, when I hear a grown person talk about somebody manipulate them, that's like a stranger, an adult stranger going to the little kid saying, I got some candy. Come get this candy. Mm-hmm. That's how they sound to me. Mm-hmm. Like you're that child. I can't say that some female manipulated me. You know what I'm saying? Because man, all the females that I've dealt with, man, when I look back at it, and when I really peel the layers apart, I could see the flaws in me that made me pick them. I could see the flaws. I can understand why y'all picked them and be like, you know what? I wasn't asking the right question. Or I wasn't seeking the right things. And this person, they showed me who they were, and I didn't believe it. So I gotta chew that up. I gotta eat that up.
Yeah.
You pick or you choose, so.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. So I guess just all in all, I guess as far as just the narrative, like you said before, you know, maybe sometimes it's about women's happiness. Maybe they're not happy marrying a woman. Maybe they're not happy marrying a man, and they'll just never be happy. Because it just seems like that's what they're looking for, right? If you married to a woman and she's not happy, she'll leave the relationship, right? No matter what you've done for her, what you do. Once she starts to stop being happy, it's usually over with. You know what I'm saying? So whether she's
we heard that last week, Scott.
Yeah, that's what I was bringing up.
Last week?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, nobody's perfect, but sometimes with some women, not all. You just have to be careful. Even if you're a woman looking for a woman, you have to be careful on that woman that you choose. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Because don't think that you're exempt from going through and experiencing the same thing that men experience. All because you're a woman dating another woman. You're going to experience the same thing that men experience.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference is you can go back to being a girly girl. A man, nobody care, man, what he go through. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell dudes this before I move on to this next story. Actually, we probably do a song before I go into these next stories, but man, the most important decision, men, that y'all gonna make is the woman y'all have kids with and y'all gonna marry. That's the biggest, most important decision you ever gonna make in your life.
Absolutely.
So,
that's true. I agree.
Man, we're gonna go ahead and get into some. Man, we're gonna go ahead and take a break. We just hit the hour. Dang, that's a fast hour.
Yeah, it is.
So we're gonna go ahead and get into some music, and then we'll be right back, man. So, man, if y'all watching right now, do us a favor. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Vigo, Instagram, please share the live. That's the fastest way, and you know, y'all can really help us grow just by sharing the live, all right? And it don't cost anything to share. So go ahead and do that for us. We'll be right back.
Absolutely.
Love it when I make you stare. Love it when I comb your hair. Love it when we're dancing slow. Love it when you hold me close. I just need a little time, and I'll make you mine. You're so, you're so, you're so sweet, oh so sweet, attentively, tenderly to me. I want you to know that I love you. You love it when I take it there. Love it when you pull my hair. You love it when I take it slow and drop it down low. You're so, I just want you to know how I feel inside. I want you to know how I feel about you. I want you to know that I need you. I want you to know that I feel you. You so sweet, oh so sweet, attentively and tenderly to me. I want you to know that I love you.
All right, y'all, man. We back. You know, I'm a jump stories, man. I'm on YouTube right now, and I want to go ahead and talk about this whole welfare reform because there's a lot of people getting ready to lose Medicaid and welfare
Absolutely.
from with Trump. But I think, you know, Sky, I wanted to ask you, right?
Mhm.
So, do you think like a lot of it is, and I think a lot of people is in agreement with this, that the people that automatically should get benefits if you're disabled and you're elderly, automatic, right? So I believe that we need to protect, you know, the disabled or the elderly. But if you're able-bodied, I think, man, that there should be a time limit that you're in these programs because everybody need help. So there's no disputing that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody need help, but there are some people that just use it as they allow it to handicap. There are people out
Absolutely.
there that will, you know, man, they will they will file for disability over the smallest of things. And you looking at them and you like, you can work. There's jobs out here you can do. But then they sit and then every month collect a disability check.
Right.
So I don't know, man. You know, man, I do think that some welfare reform is good.
Right. But then I don't know because it's a touchy subject. If you're disabled, how extremely disabled do you have to be?
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's some functional disabled people. Well, it's like me in the state of Tennessee. To them, I'm blind by the state of Tennessee because of my eyesight thing, right? But I'm not. I'm legally blind, but I'm not blind. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So each state would have to decide what is a disability, right? Like if you have lupus and that's a disease, is that a disability? I mean, even though you have lupus, you can still get up, walk around, and drive, and cook, and take a shower. But that disease sometimes flares up, you know, when you don't want it to. If you have seizures or epilepsy, right? Some days you're good, some days you're not. Or do they have to be sitting in a wheelchair with both legs cut off? Like, then what is this ability? Because if that's the case, there'll be a lot of people out here with a chainsaw, probably cutting both legs off to go sit in a wheelchair. So it's still a touchy subject. And then when you say able-bodied, their bodies might be able, but mentally they might be crazy. Just like dude that shot dude over mayonnaise. Now he was able-bodied, but mentally he was disabled, right? So mentally, because you can't see mental, so mentally you disabled, but the government says because you got 2 hands and 2 feet, you go out into this world, and you go out to this world and you shoot somebody in the chest over an argument over mayonnaise. So that's why I say it's such a subject on who should get what, because you're not gonna make everybody happy. Somebody's going to be wrong, but it's just I don't know, Damo. It's like splitting hairs to me sometimes.
Yeah, you ask me. I think, man, the majority of the country mentally disabled. I think half of us crazy. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But they're gonna talk about Trump's welfare reform. So let's go ahead. I want to hear what they're talking about with this.
Liberty Nation. Truth is making a comeback. Hello and welcome to Liberty Nation.
Oh, I even got a better one. So this is the HUD secretary talking about it. So I want to hear what he's. Here we go. This is even better.
Welcome back. Congress hammering out key provisions of President Trump's big, beautiful bill, some of which could result in funding cuts to welfare programs. The president requesting certain cuts from the Housing and Urban Development Department, including more than $26 billion in state rental and grants and overseas assistance programs. Joining me now is Housing and Urban Development Secretary Scott Turner. Mr. Secretary, thank you so much for being here. What are you expecting in terms of these welfare cuts, and where do you expect the biggest cuts to be made?
Well, good morning, Maria. Thank you for having me. It's great to see you again. You know, the president, my colleagues from the Senate and the House, this administration, we're all taking inventory and getting our fiscal house in order. As you know, the previous 4 years before we came, there were no checks and no balances, no transparency, and a lack of good stewardship in America's budget and America's fiscal house. And so, along with my colleagues on the Hill, we here at HUD are taking inventory of every program so that we can be sufficient and effective in serving the American people. This is the first step when you talk about the skinny budget. It's the first step of many in this process. Our job here at HUD is to maximize the budget that we do have and make sure that we're serving America's people and the critical programs that we have.
So do you expect cuts to those welfare programs, and how significant will the cuts be? Where specifically are you expecting the cuts, sir?
You know, I think not so much cuts only, Maria, but also how we administer the programs. One thing at HUD, we're very mission-minded, and we understand, you know, our call here to serve the American people. We'll see when the budget comes out what we have to work with. Our job is to maximize this budget and to make sure that we're serving America's most vulnerable people as it pertains to housing and homelessness and disaster recovery.
Mr. Secretary, you co-wrote a New York Times op-ed along with RFK Jr., Brooke Rollins, Dr. Oz. You suggested that there should be new qualifications to receive the welfare benefits. You write, able-bodied adults receiving benefits must work, participate in job training, or volunteer in their communities at least 20 hours a week. So tell us about that. Is that a way to significantly cut back? How can the administration enforce those policies to reshape the welfare system?
Well, Maria, I think it's a paradigm shift. You know as well as I do, work restores dignity. Yeah. Work brings pride. You know, and our welfare system deviated from what it was intended to be from its origin. It was intended for the most vulnerable, to the most needy in our country. But now we've created welfare as a lifestyle in our country. And, you know, America is not a welfare state. America is a country of opportunity and a country of entrepreneurship. And so this will help us to encourage able-bodied people in America that are receiving government subsidies to work. You know, there was a study that came out, almost 50% of households that are receiving HUD funds, almost 50%, not one person in that household is working. And that has to change. That culture, that paradigm has to change. At HUD, this is common sense compassion. We want to help people and invigorate and encourage people to work, able-bodied people to work. We're not talking about the elderly. We're not talking about those that are disabled. Able-bodied, able-minded people that are receiving HUD funding should go to work to restore dignity, Maria.
So he said something. He said able-bodied, able-mind. So I do agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what do you think about, you know, man, them saying, hey, if you get these subsidies, that you got to work a certain amount of hours a week or volunteer somewhere a certain amount of hours a week to actually be able to benefit from these subsidies?
Well, okay, so the first thing is able body, able mind. Okay, I could probably look at your body and tell if you maybe work. Hell, even if you missing a couple of fingers or a couple of toes, or even if you walk with a limp, or you had arthritis or your knees, you might can work. But how do you know somebody's able minded? You gonna hook something up to their brain to see their brain waves to see
I think what they mean by that is like you got to have something from a doctor, from like a psychiatrist or somebody that say, hey, this person, I got you. This person isn't able to work for whatever reason, man. They're mentally.
Right. Well, that's what they have now, right? That's how a lot of people is receiving disability. Okay. And then working, well, then think about it. So I'm on this voucher program I'm in. I volunteer or I work 20 hours a week. Well, if I'm working 20 hours, why can't I work 25? If I work 25, why can't I work 30? Then all of a sudden I'm off the program because I make too much money. I went from being disabled to an able body. Because now, whether you're paying me or I'm volunteering, you're seeing that I have enough energy to do 20. So why can't I do 25? And then 32 hours now, because full time when we were growing up was 40 hours. Now full time is 32. So now you get to 30, they're like, well, you know what? You don't need the voucher. You can go from volunteering and getting paid, or you can go from getting paid 20 hours a week to 32 hours a week, get you some benefits, some insurance. You don't need this. See, that's what I'm saying. It's a slippery slope.
I think
And
that's
then
what
on
we're
top of
aiming
that,
for, though, Sky. I think we're aiming to wing people up.
But let me tell you who it hurts. He said America is an opportunity for business owners and entrepreneurs. Do you know how many landlords bought houses and got mortgages on them to put them on Section 8?
Right.
Because even if the tenant who's only paying $300 default, the government's not. So even if the tenant didn't pay for a while, you still get money from the government. And let's say the tenant and the government, they have 10, 15, 20 houses that are on Section 8 HUD expecting these vouchers. You kick those people off the vouchers or you kick those people out, then unless the landlord has mortgage-free homes, which most of them don't, how are they supposed to pay these mortgages or keep their overhead going? You're going to crush them. So now you're going to crush the real estate, the entrepreneurial real estate market. So either way it goes, it's a yin and a yang. You're trying to get people out off the vouchers, but there's people who have these Section 8 homes that want them in there. They want these lazy people in there. They want them to qualify for HUD and these vouchers. So you can't. It's not going to be a win across the board.
Now, I think it's going to be ugly. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be a definite shock. But I don't know, man. I don't agree with generations being on there. Like, you and I both know, like a grandmother, daughter, and then granddaughter that all being on the system. I think they gotta figure out a way to end that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the thing. Let's go back to the slavery mentality, which a lot of people are in. So I'll give you an example, right? Walmart. His kids were on Walmart. His grandkids, his great-grandkids. So the workers who work there, they will work there. They'll help their children get on. They'll help their grandchildren and so forth. NFL, right? The owners will pass it down to their kids, right? But Deion Sanders and people who play, what are they going to do? They're going to help their kids play for those kids, right? So when you're saying, well, for us, it's a bad idea for them to be on the generations, again, those landlords whose granddaddy serviced your grandmama and then whose daddy serviced your mama, I'm servicing you, and then my kids going to service your kids. Them the ones that are like, no, we kind of want this. As long as they're fat and happy and sitting here collecting government assistance, my family generation is going to collect an X amount of money. Right. So them the only people that are like, what are y'all talking about? No, we don't want that. Me and you see it on a different avenue. But if you was on that side of the fence collecting all that money from HUD and vouchers and people that don't want to work, and now all of a sudden they talking about taking that away, your bread and butter, that could be a whole different story.
Which is why a lot of these politicians are fighting against that. Because a lot of them get fat checks on people sitting on the system. You know what I'm saying? They keep them having jobs. I mean, they belly's getting full off of people sitting off the system, being lazy and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why we seeing this. Let me play this a little further, man, so we can get more. I want to hear if you talk about more into the housing part of it.
You get up early in the morning and you work, you serve, and so we want to give other people and encourage others the same opportunity. And so this is a great step forward, working with our colleagues at Agriculture and also Health and Human Services and Dr. Oz to be kind of a catalyst to change the trajectory of the lives of people in our country.
I think it's a great point that you make, Secretary, because work is empowering. And, you know, it also checks the box of a way to reassess these programs and perhaps save a little money where you're looking to actually align with colleagues in the House and Senate trying to come up with spending cuts for this big, beautiful bill to get the president's agenda passed. But you make the right point, and that is work is empowering. Why not, align with people so that they can see the benefits of that rather than just being so dependent on government? President Trump has said many times he wants private enterprise to rule the day in this economy.
That's exactly right. And Maria, you hit it on the head. I was visiting one of our public housing authorities, the residents that live there in a city in our country, and I was visiting with them about the deplorable conditions that they live in one of our public housing authorities, which we're taking inventory of all of those as well. And I heard the story, the testimony of one young lady said, I have been living in this public housing authority in this project since 19 73. That means she has been living there since birth or shortly thereafter. And so because of that, her mother, probably her grandmother, raised her there. She's living there. Now she's raising her children there. And so that's the paradigm that we want to change. My parents, neither one of them went to college, but they both instilled in me a tremendous work ethic, and it has made our family stronger. And that's what we want here, not just at HUD, but from the administration, our country overall, is to have young people to see those coming before them, working hard, providing for their families. Because if young people are incentivized to work, that will change our culture. It'll change our workforce. It'll increase earnings, increase family stability. And so that's what we're after here at HUD. That's what the president and our administration is after. And Maria, I believe that it is beneficial for the posterity of our country, the rehabilitation and the reconciliation of our families.
No
so
doubt
I'm
about
excited about it.
Secretary, it's a great point. It's a great angle to be focused on and has so many impacts. Thank you, sir. Great to talk with you this morning.
All right, so anything else based off of what he was saying right there?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Instill in people, you hope that once they get older, that it will come back to them, right? You know, when children turn 18, they're free. And when you're free, like a dog that's been in a cage, you're going to run wild. But by the time they turn 21, 25, and they kind of settle down, what you instilled in them by then, you hope will carry on to them for the rest of their life. But again, a lot of people are just, I don't know what the word to use, but a lot of people will go back to what you said about parents. If the parents don't have it to instill into their child, then where they're going to get it from school, from the streets? Like, where are they going to get it from? And so at the end of the day, that is something that goes back to the parents and the grandparents. But then if you go too far back, now we're talking about coming out of slavery and all this whole stuff. And I'm not using slavery and a race thing as an issue. I'm just saying, when a generation don't know how to read and write, they can't teach the next generation to read and write. So somewhere in that generation, somebody had to learn how to read and write. Then somebody learned how to get a job. Then somebody had to learn how to do 401ks. And somebody had to learn how to do entrepreneurship. And in 2025, in my mind, from 1865 to 2025, you would think we're there, but we might not be. But in my mind, I'm thinking we're there. But for some people, they might not be there. They might not be where I think we should be.
And I think, man, a lot of it is, man, we got to swallow pride. Mm-hmm. And I give you an example. If you don't know how to read and write, and you know you don't know how to read and write, and you know you can't teach your kids how to read and write, guess what you do as a good parent? Mm-hmm. Put them in front of somebody that can teach them how to read and write. Mm-hmm. So you got to, if you don't know how to do, if you don't know, then you have to put them in front of others that know. And a lot of people will take a little kid, for example. You might have somebody in the family that's straight A's and B's, a great teacher, all right? And then you have a kid, you know, now, if you know that you sucked in school, and a lot of y'all know that y'all, man, y'all fail covering, y'all know. And you know, you're that kind of person, okay, that's your kid. But if you're a great parent, you're going to do what? You know what? I'm going to let my Aunt Shelley teach my child. You put them, and that is your job as a parent, to put them in a position where they can win. Instead of saying, no, I ain't letting nobody else teach my kid. I teach them. I know how to teach them how this and how that.
Yeah.
So you got to put them in position if you don't know. Our issue, I think, a lot of times is not knowing. It's pride. Mm-hmm. And you know, if you suck at basketball, well, I'm gonna teach my son how to play basketball. You stink. You know what I'm saying? Man, you know, Cousin Ray playing college ball. Put him in his hands. He could teach him the rope.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes with pride as an extension or subcategory pride is, okay, I let Aunt Shelley teach my child. My child graduates. Aunt Shelley wants to take the credit. Aunt Shelley wants to tell everybody in the family Well, Scott didn't know how to raise his kid. I raised his kid. That, you know, every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, everybody get together. She's running off at the mouth on how she raised my kid, how to read, write, do math. Well, when they walked across the stage, they should have gave me the flowers, not the, you know what I'm saying? So that's an extension of pride too. But I don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? I asked you to help. I didn't ask you to run your mouth telling everybody how you helped me. You know what I'm saying? So that could be an issue too.
But you know what? And then that comes, and that is one of them things where what's more important? If my child is ahead or what other people think.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like me, and that's what you gotta. What's more important? You know, my kid, man, getting, you know, man, going places that I never could reach, or me having to deal with this person saying this and that. I let them talk. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I get it. You know what I mean? We all got family members the way that you talking about. But then it just really come down to, shit, what is more important? How they feel or where my child is at?
Well, as you can tell, the society we live in, it's mostly how they feel, not where their child is at.
Yeah.
And
which
so
is unfortunate.
Yeah. So I just have to see how this is going to work out once you make these cuts to Medicaid, Medicare, snaps, vouchers, where these people going to go, where these people, well, they can all just go get jobs. Hold on. You trying to tell me somebody who's been on welfare for 10 years, you now want them to be your doctor, your lawyer, your judge, your police officer? You just want them to just wake up one day and just go into these industries that, oh, okay, they pay a lot of money. Because a lot of them are not going to go to the, well, let me work hard, because they don't know how to work hard. You kick me off of these programs, I'm thinking I'm going to go where I make the most money. Okay, well, let me get into nursing, knowing damn well I don't need to be into nursing, but that's where the money's at. And then you get sick or your loved one gets sick, and somebody who's been lazy for 10 years went to a 2-year nursing school and now don't know what the hell they doing with your loved one, but yet this is what you're saying.
We need to get rid of them.
What the hell they doing? Because their mind is not to grind, get it out the mud, and slowly. No, they're going to go from being lazy, entitled, to where can I find the most money? Then you're going to have all these damn attorneys and lawyers that don't know a damn thing what they doing, because just 2-3 years ago, they was getting the Section 8 vouchers. So you got to be careful what you're saying to the universe. You know what I'm saying? It's an ecosystem. Everybody has to play their role, from the rich and wealthy down to the destitute and the criminals. That's what an economy is all about.
Basically, what they telling y'all, they saying, if y'all want them welfare benefits, you better get that broom at McDonald's, sweep that floor. You know what I'm saying? You better go clean that porta potty. You know.
Yeah. But then these are folks that ain't worked in a while, so they don't know how to handle adversity, as far as like somebody coming through a drive-through arguing about mayonnaise. Because they've been sitting on their
happen.
Yeah,
they're gonna be losing a lot of weight. Y'all better figure out a job somewhere, because y'all gonna be losing weight.
They don't know how to deal with co-workers, customers, managers getting smart. They don't know how to deal with standing on their feet for 8 hours. So it's a slow progression. But everybody's like, no, just kick them off and just give them jobs. I'll say, okay, well, you gonna see how that's gonna work.
They ain't gonna work like that. No.
Or they can just go to school. They ain't picked up a book in 15 years. You think they're gonna go to college and pick up a bunch of student loans? Like,
they ain't picked up a newspaper.
Thank you.
Picked up a newspaper.
You're just gonna have this section of the world that don't see it like everybody else. Everybody that comes into this world is not going to see that work hard, grind, and be successful. There's gonna be some people in this world that's like, you know what? I'm gonna sit here and be lazy till God calls me back home, and that's just life. There you go.
Yep. He ain't lying, man. That subject is funny. So who cheats better, men or women? Do women cheat better than men? I don't think so. And I agree with what they're getting ready to talk about in this. I do not think women cheat well. You know what I'm saying? I just think, I'm going to let y'all hear what they got to say about it, because I'm in total agreement with this. And I was like, damn, I never even thought about that. But damn, this is absolutely real legit. I couldn't agree more. Usually I always have a lot to say about something, but I was like, damn, this is something that I actually can add on to. So without further ado,
women do not cheat better than men.
Why do you think that?
The reason why women do not cheat better than men, I'm going to tell you why it's this false narrative that women cheat better than men.
Mm-hmm.
Men are not messy as women are.
Okay.
See, this is the thing about a man.
Wait, men aren't consistent with how they cheat. Women are. So if we say we're going to the grocery store, we're going to tell our men. We're going to tell the man that we cheating with, hey, can you go buy some groceries? I'm going to come over to your house and we're finna do our little do, and I'm going to just pick the groceries up from your house and come back home for my man.
So, Marty, back to what I was saying. Women are not better than men at cheating.
Okay.
Women are messy. Women are emotional. Women demand more. See, you got to understand, as a man, it's a flex for me to be able to sleep with you when you have a man, and I can't wait to send you back home to your man. Usually when a man is cheating with a woman, eventually if the dick is good enough and the timing is good enough, and then she starts to get envious and wants you to be her man. So she starts leaving lipsticks in cars and lip glosses in cars and scratching backs and hickeys on your upper thigh and on your upper collar. Like, women actually want to get you caught because women become territorial. A man can fuck on you for the rest of your life and smile in your husband's face, shake his hand, go play golf with him, and never say nothing. Man, this is the nothing but the truth.
So,
damn, what I was gonna say, look, like, if I was a woman, I would say it would be hard for me to cheat, because one thing about men, we can never come up pregnant. Well, I mean, we might come up with STDs, but we can never come up pregnant. Woman slips up and comes up pregnant, we know that she's cheated. A man, if he has an STD, he can secretly go get that taken care of way before his wife finds out. So no, I kind of agree that men are probably much better at hiding it, because again, you slip up, you come pregnant, ain't no way hiding that, right? And then easy access, like she said, for some women, I heard a story, and I don't know if it's true or not, y'all. The woman was cooking. You know how you have like baking soda and stuff on your hands from seasoning chicken and stuff, the powder, whatever. She went to her husband and said, well, I have to go to the bathroom. Can you take my panties out? Because all she had on was a t-shirt and panties. He took her panties off. She still had the stuff on her hand from where she cooking. Went around the corner to where the dude she was cheating with had sex with him with the chicken stuff still on her hand, came back, and then told the husband, because he was sitting in the chair watching TV. And this was an African guy that told me this, so this happened in Africa. And put her panties back on, and she went back to cooking the chicken as if nothing ever happened. So I kind of see why the woman is saying that, because it's just for women that easy. But what I disagree with, if that dude would have gotten her pregnant, then she fucked up. So it just depends on how you see it. To me, I just think it's equally down the board. Men can get emotional, women can get emotional. Men can get caught, but women can get caught much easier because they're able to show in their belly that they have been cheating. Men, unless you give your wife an STD or something, she might have suspicion, but she really can't prove nothing unless you dealing with them heifers that recording your ass while you're doing every damn thing or whatever. But yeah, so it's hard for me to pick a side on that, because each of them has their pros and cons.
Well, I agree with the dude in this aspect. If a man is sleeping with another man's woman, that man, for the most part, he win. To him, he win. He ain't gonna say nothing, because he can get what he can get out of the woman, send her back to. He ain't got to deal with all the other crap that goes with her, right? He's getting the best part of her, right? Meanwhile, he sends her back to her dude. Why would he say anything? He got what he want out of it.
Right.
Women are more messy, because they're like, yes, I'm getting the sex, but she's getting the benefit of your protection, your provision, your this, your that. So, in her eyes, she's not winning like the woman he's with.
Right. Well, if the man is wearing a condom every time, then he's protected from STDs and pregnancies, right? And he can send her home to the husband. But let's talk about the ones that are too stupid to do that. You either gonna probably catch something from the woman, because if she's cheating with you, her man's probably cheating with somebody else. So then you first spread all these diseases and stuff to you for you to take home to your wife, and then she comes up pregnant. Is it yours or is it her husband's? So if you're smart enough to use condoms, fine. I can agree with that 100%. And sometimes condoms bust or break. Who knows shit? But Right, with women, I can agree with that too. Some of them will be like, I don't just want the sex and your money, and then they start to get lonely. Then they want your protection. Then they want the ring, and then they want. So yeah, I can agree. Like I said, I can agree on both sides, her side and his side. To me, it's the individual. It's the individual. Are you calculating what you're doing, or are you just saying, hell, I don't give a damn. I'm just ready to just do whatever? Because that's messy. If you're not calculating and planning and you're just hopping into bed and hopping out, hopping in, hopping out, then that's messy. Because now you don't know what diseases you spread. You don't know if she gets pregnant. You don't know none of this stuff that's going to happen because you're not protecting yourself in that situation. On both sides, her and him.
There's a lot of dudes, and the reason why, and the crazy part about it, it could go on for a very, very, very long time because if dudes are protecting themselves,
right,
men don't speak. So unless the female give it away, which 9 times out of 10 is less likely to happen, you simply won't know. Unless you got to be so connected with the female that you just know. I can't explain it, but you just know. You know what I'm saying? By certain movements, certain behaviors she have, you know, certain routines that she may change up. You just got to be on it to know. Because outside of that, you know, like women, we see it all the time. Well, women leave like, man, some underwear or a sock, you know what I'm saying? Or some lipstick purposely on your neck, you know, or, you know, man, like her fragrance real loud. Like, oh, you know that fragrance loud. You know what I'm saying? And they leave certain clues that let the dude's woman know that I've been here. Basically, women are more likely to mark the territory when they cheat than a man. A man ain't trying to mark no territory because he know it could cost him his life.
Right. So, and again, I can agree with that too. I guess the best thing is just don't cheat. I guess I'm about to say. Don't put yourself in that situation. Now, I'm not saying you can't have female friends. I ain't saying you can't hug Miss Sally down the street when you see her. Because let's be realistic. If you out and about and you see a friend that you grew up with that you ain't seen in a while, what y'all do? Y'all hug. So whatever fragrance she have on is gonna get on you. And then you come home and your wife like, oh, you been out there cheating? Like, no, I just hug somebody. Hell, I could probably hug a dude and he got loud fucking, excuse my language, perp cologne or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you can't predict the future. You don't know what's going to happen. All I tell people all the time, and I say it all the time, just always have a plan B for when stuff goes left or goes south. The day that your partner don't want to be with you, the day you find out that they've cheated, the last thing you want to do is be sitting there with your penis in your hand blowing in the wind. Always have a safety net or a plan B. Because they love you today, but 10 years from now, it might go south. You never know.
Yeah. And I'm just like I said, like, ladies, I just want to leave with this. Y'all are not better cheaters. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I just think dudes aren't as messy. Dudes, you know what I'm saying? As long as they getting what they getting out of you, most of them gonna keep their mouths closed. Now, some of them, man, that got feminine traits and you know, they want to put it out there. But the majority of smart dudes don't want to put that out there because, man, you know, they don't want to lose their life. Oh, you know, we're women, man, ladies, y'all are messy. Y'all messy as hell. And dudes is not smart enough to realize that a lot of y'all are messy. I always told this, I always believed it. And most married men, if you ask them, they'll say this. More women chase them after they get married than before they got married. It's just something about once you get married, now everybody want to hit them. You know what I'm saying? Because women are
just get in a relationship here, right, Damo? Just get into a relationship here. Before then, nobody mess with you. Then all of a sudden they find out you got a girlfriend. Then here they come, right?
And they want you. Yep. And they don't even think, and I believe they don't even want you. What it is they don't believe that your girl that deserved the happiness that you got, you know, that she got. Like, they don't have that happiness. Well, we're qualifying her to deserve this happiness. So they want to go ahead and prove, it's just to prove to your girl that, man, what she got ain't what she think it is. It's not about you. So fellas, a lot of time it ain't about you. It's about making your girl unhappy. It's that whole saying, misery loves company.
It sure does. Misery does love company. That is the realest thing I heard in my life. Misery sure do love company. Absolutely.
So they trying to keep your girl, they trying to make your girl company. That's all that is. You know what I'm saying?
And so, because a lot of these women have self-esteem issues, anxiety, depression, and none of them will never be married, and some of them will have multiple divorces. So if they see that you've been married for 20 years and you've been happy for 20 years and all this stuff, the devil will start playing the fiddle. Sure will.
Yep. Sure will. Man, Sky, man, I think I didn't share this. Well, I shared it on my page, but man, I see you responded under this. The title of this is he right or is he wrong? So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and play this, and then Sky, man, me and you gonna go ahead and discuss this.
Some of you women treat y'all dogs better than y'all treat y'all men, and y'all wonder why they cheat. I feed y'all dogs on time, and 24 hours go by, and you still haven't asked your man what he ate today. You haven't asked your man if he's hungry. Y'all do everything under the sun for these dogs, and they do damn near nothing but give you some emotional support. And I know some of y'all gonna say, okay, the dog loves you unconditionally. That's because you feed him on time. That's because you bathe him on time. That's because you walk him on time. That's because you take care of everything he needs, and that's why he show you unconditional love. But let you not feed that dog for 2 weeks, I guarantee you wouldn't be able enough to pet that dog because he'll be ready to take your hand off. And that's the reason why the dogs show you unconditional love. You should try doing that with your man. You should try being consistent when you're showing him affection, when you're catering to him, when you're showing him love. You got to be consistent with it. And I guarantee you'll see a change in his behavior. And like I said before, man, a lot of y'all get upset, get mad, get annoyed, but in all you get understanding.
The sad part is that we are at a time in our lives when he has to say that. Shouldn't women just naturally know that? Like, I ain't talking about the dog part, just how to treat a man. Didn't your big mama and grandmama and mama supposed to teach you how to treat a man? If this guy, this guy has to come on social media to tell women how to treat men, it's a lost cause for the next generation.
You know what? It's the same. We can flip that, right? But being reassured that we focus on, men. I'll just say this: a lot of their mamas and big mamas couldn't. You know why? Most people fail their children before they even realize they done failed their children, because the ultimate goal, I ain't gonna say goal, but the greatest thing in life is to have somebody that share your life with. Oh, this don't really mean nothing at the end of the day, is if you don't have nobody to share it with. And some people to share it with is their children. How unfortunate. So it's already written that a lot of these people's kids gonna have failed relationships and marriages too. Because it's like, how could you know anything? You can't even go to your parent and ask them how to have a successful relationship or marriage. Because they can't tell you nothing about that. They can tell you what they think they know. But what about giving? It's like me going, if I want to know how to maintain and sustain wealth, I can't go to a homeless person and ask them that. Now they can tell me how to get to being successful, right? Yeah. There's a lot of homeless people that were once CEOs and high positions, own businesses and companies. They can tell you how to get there, but they can't tell you how to sustain it and maintain it. Right. The same with a lot of these parents and when it comes to relationships. They can tell you what they think they know, but they can't tell you So really, man, you can't even be successful based on their advice. And more times than not, I think people. I know in my case, I learned what not to look for in the women that my father chose. Ooh, I don't want that quality in a woman. Ooh, that was terrible. I learned how to pick good women from him picking bad women. And a lot of y'all kids, they're the same way. A lot of y'all daughters, they know how to pick good men based on the horrible qualities that you chose in men. So they successful. A lot of y'all kids gonna be successful by default. And that's the real tragedy of it.
That's true. Sometimes you don't have to mimic somebody. You can do the opposite of what they're doing, you know? Be successful. Absolutely. So it's a double-edged sword on how you learn life. You can see somebody doing something good and you say, "Oh, I want that." You can see somebody doing something bad, like, "Oh, I don't want that." You know what I'm saying?
And you know the funny part? We gonna hit the rewind on the tape, on the cassette tape, and we gonna rewind it back. A lot of y'all parents do exactly what Sky was talking about earlier. Y'all take credit for some shit that you really weren't successful in doing. You know what I'm saying? Like your kid is successful by default. They ain't say, you know what? The Sky, you got my post, because you know I don't hardly ever post thoughts. But that's my thought of the day. A lot of parents brag on their kids, and their kids are successful by default. Because it's not like they learned from the parent. They learned, to do the opposite and became successful.
Absolutely. That is true.
I watched it with a cousin of mine. You know what I'm saying? Like, his daddy was a drunk. You know what I'm saying? Cheated on his mama all the time. You know what I'm saying? Just was out in the streets. And he was this dude now a pastor, married, you know what I'm saying? Clean cut, and he the total opposite of his dad. But I guarantee you, his daddy taking credit for where his son at right now. And I'm like, man, he is successful despite you. You know what I'm saying? He did the total opposite of what you did, and that's why this dude is successful. And you taking credit for it. And a lot of y'all kids, straight A students, sister, you was dumb as rock. You was dumb as a rock. You was licking the chalkboard, you know what I'm saying? Sniffing, you know what I'm saying, erasers and stuff. Well, you was a skunk. And here it is, your kid, honor roll A and B. And you bragging like you sat down with them to do their homework. Nah, they just doing the opposite of what you was doing.
Absolutely.
That's it.
That's right. They observed and learned what to do and what not to do.
From somebody else.
Yeah.
Just like you said, other people can have a bad influence over your kids. A lot of times, it can work. It can reverse. A lot of people can have good influence over your kids, and your kids be successful despite you. Look at LeBron James. He's successful despite his mama. His mama, man, okay, you'll give him credit for this. She put him in positions, you know what I'm saying, to be successful in this respect. When she didn't have a stable house, she swallowed her pride and put him in a position where he could be at a stable house. So you got to give her credit for that. But he's successful still, despite her. Not really because of her.
Yeah. So like people who give babies up for adoption or give guardian rights to somebody else in the family. They can't do it. They own drugs and don't have a stable place to live. So they're going to give their child the best opportunity possible. Yeah. So yeah, they became successful by default. Absolutely.
Yeah. But that was it, man. Damn. It was a fun show.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely was. And You know, out of all the things that goes on in this world, Damo, it's like not we, because this is what our goal is on the podcast, is to discuss, but society is discussing who cheats better, men or women. We ain't worried about the economy, healthcare, diseases, COVID-19, none of that stuff. We're worried about who cheats better, men or women. That would be the least of my worries in 2025.
Yeah. What all going on in the world, especially I thought that was an interesting take, because I've heard that debate all my life.
But what we do is great, but I'm just saying, just in society as a whole.
It's the same thing with 100 gorillas and one man.
Yeah,
we got bigger concerns than
Like, who had the time to sit there and just think, 100 million versus one gorilla?
How high did you have to be to even come up with a question
Showing
like
them
that?
dummies. Yeah.
You had too many of them cookies.
Right, there you go. But I was just like, it's great content for me and you, but I just sometimes think when we end our podcast, like, what is these folks? What are these folks
Most of the stuff in the world.
Now,
most of this stuff in the world, and a lot of stuff what we like to hit on is things regarding relationships. I'm glad that we're branching out with some other news to add in, because it could get a bit wearing. It could wear on. I know it wears on me, right?
Well,
it could be a bit too much, but man, you see all this stuff. I mean, it's hard to break away from it. Because I think a lot of things in the world, that's what's wrong with the world, starts with that.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah, it does.
I think, man, it's hard to fix the world itself if your family is jacked up. And the majority of people, look what we got going on now. We see the Cassie and Diddy case. Then we seeing like this week, it was Remy Ma and Papoose and Clarissa Shields. You know what I'm saying? And then we got the Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion whole ordeal. And you just see this stuff and you just like, man, we stink right now. It's just basic relationships.
And that's what it is. And outside of this podcast, when it comes across my feed, I might skim it a little bit, but I don't get into it. So we, when we do debates about Remy or P. Diddy, I let you do more, because I have other things that I have to worry about. Because whether Diddy go to jail or not, my life still goes on. And Remy Ma and Papoose, they ain't the only two black people that's ever gone through whatever the hell they're going through. So why most people care about who cheated first, who did what? Shouldn't you be worried about what's going on in your household and not worried about Remy Ma or Pep? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I get it. It's nice discussion of topic. But when it becomes the thing that comes before the thing, that's when it's the issue. When it's high on your priority to know if Diddy's going to jail for baby oil, then that's why we having the issues that we have. So, but if your life is okay and you good and you taking a coffee break and you just want to entertain your brain and read, that's fine. But people out here on social media, Damo, this is what they wake up every day to find out. What's next? What's going on? Like, dude, seriously? This is what's how you're recording?
And that's the bad, that's the really tragic part of it all. Because I think in everybody's life, I don't care if it's celebrity or non-celebrity, there's always lessons to be learned. So no matter what it is, it really comes down, I think the most important part of it, what's the lesson that you learn from any of these stories? Whether it be P. Diddy, Cassie, Papoose, Remy Ma, even if it's Mary and Tom down the street. What are the life lessons that because I think in whatever experience you have, whether if it's indirect, you know what I'm saying, hearsay, or something that you know up close and personal. Are you learning any lessons from this?
Absolutely.
Is there anything you're going? I'll give you an example. Like when I'm watching Papoose and Remy Ma, I don't really get into full details of what they got going on and what's said, because that's really dropped. I take one big thing away from them. keep shit off of social media. That's the lesson. It's not everybody's business.
Nope. And now it's out there, and everybody's using your name and likeness for clickbaits and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, they got a child together. They got a daughter, right? Yeah. And so how do you think she got to go to school and deal with that stuff? The
ridicule and all that. And all of this, it's just like the same with Cassie and stuff. Like, you know, man, dudes peeing in your mouth. I mean, that's some information that we didn't need to know, that we didn't have to know. You know the person that's is hurting the most. Not even then. It's your husband. Because now every time he go in for a kiss, he got to close his eyes, and right before he pucker up, he got to think about how, you know what I'm saying, somebody that peed in your wife, use your wife's mouth as a toilet.
And you know, it would be different if I was dating Cassie and somebody peed in her mouth 20 years ago. Because that's a lot of toothbrush and mouthwash. But this is recently. This was within a few years that this happened. That's what I can get over. 20 years ago, fine. Everybody has a past. But a few years ago, people pissing in your mouth, that's a whole different story.
It's some passes. I'm sorry, y'all ladies. It's some passes that dudes can't. Cause you know, could you imagine, man? Me and Sky, we cool. And Sky fall out me. That's why that dude peed on your wife's tit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I got to hear about this. You read that stuff. You didn't go through it, but you gotta relive it. You know what I'm saying? You know, man, your wife's hair good because that dude pissed in her hair. You know what I'm saying? That's why I got that golden shine now. You know, you gotta hear about that. You don't want nobody talking about your old lady and like that.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
So it's just lessons to be learned. The lesson to be learned is that your past, you can live. You can have to end up still dealing with your past in your present, and possibly in your future. The past is the past. Well, if that was the case, it wouldn't be brought up again. Now, would?
Absolutely.
So there is a lesson that your past can stay with you.
That's right. And whether I'm dating you, we're friends, we're married. My thing is, because my mind is always like a business, right? So a new business is always 5 years. That's why they say startups are 5 years, and most businesses don't make it past 5 years. So whatever you've done, if it's 5 years or older, I don't even care. I don't even let it go. But I treat you like a business. Whatever you done within the first 2 or 3 years, then that's to me, that's not the past. You still a new startup to me. So what the shit you've been doing out here before you got around me within the last 2, 3 to 5 years of your life, I'm sorry. People like, oh, that's the past. No. That was within 5 years. That ain't the past to me. 7, 6, 8, 9 years ago, like a bankruptcy and it fell off your credit, that's the past. But within 5 years, that is not the past to me. And that dude was pissing him out just a couple of years ago. So no, I'm sorry.
I need to know, because if you slept with my boss 10 years ago and I introduced you to him and y'all act like y'all know each other, bitch, I got a problem with your ass. You know what I'm saying? You better tell me right now, goddammit. Tell me right now.
I couldn't, So I don't care how much money Cassie's about to win, or I have to wake up every day, look at myself in the mirror. I have to go to bed. And ain't enough money for that. It's just not for me, not for him. He's good.
Yeah, I know her husband going through it, because one night I woke up and I went to the bathroom. You know how you in the middle of the night and you get one of them good urines. You just sitting there, you just listening to the sound of it hitting the toilet. You lay back. I looked down in the toilet, seen Cassie, and was like, whoa! I'm just playing with y'all.
Oh my God. And a lot of it I don't even want to know. You know, Diddy taking semen and rubbing it on his nipples, and this is some stuff I've never even seen in porn. Like, I've never in my life ever watched any type of porn, Asian porn, Japanese porn, German porn, whatever, hardcore porn. I've never seen nobody put another man's semen.
That's not
Another man do it. Maybe a woman might have took semen and rubbed it on her face and body, but I've never seen another man take another man's semen and rub it on their body. So that was some.
I think she did it. I wonder if they just, and then she just went down and was like, here, Diddy. And just smeared it on his. That's nasty. Man, I don't even want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Man. Sky, so go ahead and plug them in what you got going on tonight.
Y'all don't forget the show in Huntington this Saturday. We're so sorry it has to be canceled. So ICW Huntington will be back in June. Don't forget ICW also runs in Arkansas. Shouts out to everybody last Sunday who was down in Tullahoma at the Gypsy Joe Arena for No Limit Pro Wrestling. Shouts out to my friend Classic Man for successfully defending his No Limit Pro World Heavyweight Championship. Don't forget tonight, the D-Bling Radio Show, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The replay from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Tune in and listen because this is music you won't hear anywhere else. And you can always comment on the website, request music, do all that good stuff. And we also stream the music on offtoprecords.net to stream it. So if you just want to listen to it, download it, do whatever. So those are the two things. If you have music that you want to send me, absolutely free. Just send it as an MP3, please. Scott.black@gmail.com. And man, I hope everybody, enjoys the radio show tonight. The new show is coming in June, Off Top Radio Day for other genres to get played, to have their turn to get played. And man, Tuesdays are always the best day of the week, Damo.
Man, to another great one, man. We appreciate y'all hanging around with us. Thank you to everybody on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Vigo, Instagram, wherever you're watching us from, man. We appreciate it. When the show ends, y'all can, there will be a recap, so y'all can share the recap. You can even go back and watch, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you are a Facebook friend of me or Skies, you can go ahead and watch the recap. Also, it's on YouTube also, all right? Yep. So make sure y'all go there and watch it there. Thank you guys for being with us, man. As I always like to leave with, the only thing guaranteed in life is death. So you don't need to worry about the things you can control. The things you can't control, you got to put it in God's hands, all right? Right? And there's always, remember this. If you woke up on this half of the dirt, and when the day ends, you're going to sleep on this half of the dirt, you should claim victor over the day. Right. That is a great accomplishment because there are a lot of people who won't wake up today, and there are a lot of people who will not see the end of the day. So be grateful for that, all right? Man, until next week, y'all, we are out. Peace, love, man. We'll see y'all. Much love.